And then you look a little bit farther down and you have Maloney. She's also able to turn over a lineup really well. So there's a great mix for Texas.
Henry puts a bunt down to the first pitch of the game, fouled away. We are underway here from Bobcats softball stadium. A year ago, Caden Henry, second team All-SEC, was second team All-Big 12 the year prior. The Longhorns' final year in the Big 12. This is now year 2 for them in the SEC. And right now, tied for first along with rival Oklahoma. We'll talk more about that later in the broadcast. Both teams 6-0 in the SEC, arguably the best conference in college softball. Longhorns swept their last SEC series against Ole Miss as Henry takes strike 2.
Well, one advantage for Texas State, being where they are centrally located, you get to play teams like Texas, like Texas Tech, like Texas A&M, like Baylor, frequently because they're within distance. Makes you better as a team.
Got evens here from Missoula, 2-2. Henry comes into the game riding an 8-game hitting streak. And at the top of the order, a big run producer as well, has driven in 33 for the Longhorns this season. Pitch misses inside and it fills the count.
Caden Henry almost looked like he wasn't sure if that was strike 3 or not. Started to walk away. Draws it to full though. Discipline, discipline, discipline. You're going to see these Texas hitters, they are not giving in to pitchers, especially this early.
A swing and a miss and a strikeout for Azua starts tonight against top-ranked Texas.
But whenever you have a pitch that is over the zone, the off-speed, Azua, she's able to move that ball through the zone. Not only are you having a 10-mile-an-hour difference, but you're also having 2 to 3 inches break down. As a hitter, that's really difficult to battle off with the full count.
Now, Leanne Good from San Antonio takes ball 1 upstairs from Azua.
Right away, you can see Texas really targeting the defense again for Texas State. You had Henry and now Good both offering, showing that bunt, that first pitch. They're going to try and force Texas State's hand, make them make a play.
Leanne Good right now is 15th in the country in batting average at .500. It's the second highest in the SEC as well. Her teammate Katie Stewart just behind her at 5th in the SEC, batting .493. Hard of the plate and in there for a strike. It is 2-1. Good, also top 20 of the country at on-base percentage as a team. Texas, one of the best on-base teams in the nation. Hits the strike zone again, and the count evens at 2-2.
Both the pitchers that we're going to be seeing today, both for Texas State and Texas, they have a really nasty backdoor curveball. You have that lefty as a righty. You look like, oh, it's going outside. You can feel your body leaning. You're trying to stay disciplined, especially with the strike to give. But whenever Azua is on pace and on rhythm, that is one of her best pitches in her arsenal.
As we said, Azua, arguably the top pitcher in the Sun Belt, some of the best numbers in the country, and she's a workhorse too. 3rd nationally in innings pitched this year, more than 117. And walks Good with 1 out here in the first.
That also leads to a lot of that confidence. You look at the pitcher that she was just a year ago, you look at the pitcher who she was even in February, and how much she has settled in. That is what those innings, that experience will give to you. And you're able to figure out what your rhythm is, what pitches you like to go in a sequence. You're able to distinguish, oh, wow, this is a huge hole that I might not have noticed at the beginning of the year. Now, as a pitcher standing in, you just recognize it automatically.
That's Kaya Altmaier. And takes a strike here from Azua. 5'9" senior out of San Diego, California. First year transfer to the program from Arizona. Outer half of the plate, and Azua ahead, 0-2.
Especially with the lefty pitcher up, you're going to see a lot of shots up the middle with as frequently as you throw the back door. And then that lefty-lefty matchup that you see here, you may see some things ripped into that left center gap.
And we expect this Texas State defense infield and out to be challenged all game long.
And that's what they're probably talking about in the dugout. That is the game plan. Again, it has been defense that has faltered for Texas State, where the game has been within their grasp, but they've let it get away, whether the attention has wavered. But being able to stay disciplined and stay locked in, not trying to rush a play, but be present, be where your feet are. That is one of the reasons why Texas, they have this win streak, is because they're so consistent at being where their feet are. And obviously, whenever you have bats like they do, pitching like they do, it definitely makes it easier.
Here's the thing, too. Although Ozua is a strikeout pitcher, this lineup doesn't strike out much. The Longhorns, as a team, have only struck out 84 times in more than 720 at-bats.
Definitely expect to see Ozua get her licks in. Her movement is so good, especially with the curveball across the zone. And then she's able to go with that drop ball right there. So you're expecting, as a lefty, you have that ball that's turning at your front hip and then breaking back over. And then the very next pitch, it starts on that inside corner and all of a sudden drops off the plate. That's a really hard pitch to foul off with 2 strikes especially.
Altmaier fighting off several pitches here and fights off another one. Mizzou having a hard time putting her away. Started the inning with a strikeout of Henry. Good walk to the full count. Now it's Altmaier with Reese Atwood waiting on deck. The next 2 hitters, in fact, for the Horns, Atwood and Katie Stewart. Between the 2 of them, 26 home runs. This ball is popped up in the infield. Katsurate's got it for the second out.
A huge out for Ozua, not only getting the second out of the inning, but keeping that runner over at first base. Say Reese Atwood, she gets a ball hit into the gap, you're much more likely to be able to hold up that run from scoring with the runner at first base versus second.
Atwood slices that foul right to the standing room only fans over there of the first base side. So a crowd here tonight at Bobcats Softball Stadium. Good chance they could set the single game attendance record here tonight. We'll get you those figures later on in the game. As it is 0-1 to Reese Atwood. And the pitch from Ozua is high. And it's 1-1. And there are the fans. I mean, this was a tough ticket. Sellout was announced last week. Of course, it is a short trip for Longhorn fans as well, just south of I-35. That ball in the air to right, and on the run is Williams, and she'll make the catch and puts it away for out number 3. And Ozua holds his potent lineup off the scoreboard of the first. Heading into the bottom of the inning, and the Bobcats are batting for the first time against Lali Gutierrez. To Bobcats Softball Stadium, no score heading into the bottom of the first, and in the circle tonight for Texas, Lali Gutierrez making her 5th start of the year, impressive record, 5-0, sub-2 ERA. Not a huge strikeout pitcher though, Nicole, once the pitch to contact.
Yeah, she is a spinny pitcher, lefty. Again, she's going to use her curveball, her backdoor, kind of crafting those pitches into tight towards the hands or the end of barrels. She gets weak contact. Her defense so solid behind her, especially her middle is just phenomenal. So a lot of times she doesn't need to get those swings and misses. Her defense does all the work for her.
And here's the defense tonight for Texas. Altmaier, Henry Maloney, the outfield for the Longhorns. Nichols, Martinez, good. Stewart, the infield defense for Texas, and Reese Atwood, the catcher. As the Bobcats bat here for the first time, and leading off is Keely Williams, senior out of nearby Cibolo. About 30 minutes south of San Marcos. Been a good hitter for the Bobcats, at the top of their order throughout most of the year. She's ahead here against Gutierrez, 2-0. And here is the lineup for 26-year head coach Ricky Woodard. And the big bat to look out for, hitting cleanup, Ayana Coleman, the preseason Sunbelt Player of the Year. This Bobcat team comes in, they've dropped 3 of 4. They were playing really well. Then lost after winning a midweek game at Houston last Tuesday. Got beat by Lamar out of the Southland, and then dropped 2 of 3 in Lafayette against the Raging Cajuns over the weekend. And as you pointed out earlier, Nicole, that was a very winnable series for Texas State.
And it was just those quick lapses for half a second, and you get a ball put in play, and you're trying to look too far ahead, and an easy ground ball gets away from you, or you're throwing and you're caught off guard because you're not watching where the ball is, and so the throw goes over you or it goes past you.
And Williams draws the leadoff walk. Leadoff runner on here for Texas State. That gets a dugout going here for the Bobcats, and that'll bring up Sydney Harvey, batting second in the order tonight for Texas State. Bobcats are playing for their 20th win all-time against Texas, looking for their first win at home over the Longhorns since 2018. Last time Texas State beat Texas 3 years ago up the road in Austin. And Harvey heading against Gutierrez, 1 ball to no strikes. And that'll lead to a meeting with Reese Outwood.
Taking charge here. This is a battery that's experienced together. They know each other very well. A veteran staff right there. Not just these two, but the pitching staff in general. So you get that first walk and then immediately fall off with a rise ball that's out of the zone, no contest. I like the way that she calls time, and she's just getting her back into the right mindset of, hey, let's zone it in a little bit. Your stuff is good enough. Our defense is good enough to maybe leave something slightly more over the plate. We're missing too wide. Bring it back in and see what your defense can do.
We've talked about the experience for Gutierrez, 308 innings in her career. This is her 98th appearance at Texas. Looking to pick up her 40th win as Harvey fouls that bunt attempt off. It is 1-1. Not a pitcher that walks many batters. The walk to Williams, just the 95th in her career, spanning more than those 300 innings. The ball and a strike from Gutierrez. Harvey puts the bunt down this time, fielded by the third baseman Nichols, and the sacrifice is successful. That'll move Williams over to second.
This is a great example of that Texas defense being so good. Gutierrez, she was thinking about fielding it. She probably could have made that play herself, but you see the way that Nichols comes in, crashes, and she's able to get the throw out. Her momentum is taking her towards force. That's a great communication right there. Could have been a miscue. Immediately getting that out.
And now it's a veteran Bobcat hitter in Carmen Bass, her 4th year with the program, ahead against Gutierrez here, 1 ball to no strikes. Held the average this year for Bass, hitting .326. One of 5 Bobcat hitters hitting better than .320 this year. So Nicole and I, before the game started, had a little fun over and under bet with each other. How many trains there would be tonight. During the broadcast, we got our first one, and I set it the over-under at 3. And you're taking the...
I'm taking the over. I'm going 4.
4, all right.
I'm getting some nods of approval in here. I feel validated. 4 just feels right like this. Second time in this inning that we've seen a 3-0 count. Very uncharacteristic from Gutierrez.
Got to look at the stands there again. It is packed today, elbow to elbow. Here in St. Marcus, 3-0 to Bass. A take all the way and on in 4 pitches. And so Texas State with a golden opportunity here. 2 on, 1 out, and the big bat of Ayanna Coleman coming up now.
And this is where Texas State, the advantage is all in their favor. The momentum is all in their favor. Patty Ruth Taylor, she's the assistant coach. She's a pitching coach for Texas. She's getting out and being able to talk to Gutierrez and just getting her to reset. Sometimes as a pitcher, you get your warm-up in, and that first inning is always the most difficult. But getting yourself locked in, you want to feel like you're in that 3rd inning already by the time you start, so you're well in tune with yourself.
Cambria Salmon getting loose in the Longhorn bullpen right now as Mike White looks on. Legendary head coach, 9 seasons in Eugene, coaching the Oregon Ducks, and then made his way to Austin, coming off his first ever national championship season. He'd been to Oklahoma City many times and finally won it all this past year. Now it's Ayanna Coleman, 2 on and 1 out. And ahead against Gutierrez, 1 ball, no strikes. Coleman slugging .721 this year. The team leading 8 home runs in the season for the former Texas A&M Aggie. That ball is hit softly towards the shortstop. Viviana Martinez able to reach up and make the catch for out number 2.
Really great range by Martinez. Texas so glad to have her back over in that shortstop position. She is so solid. And then whenever you have her and Good working up the middle, both of them together working in tandem, there's a lot of range and ground that they cover.
Now Harley Vestal for Texas State. And she takes a strike. Part of the very talented Vestal family. Of course, her older sister Brooke has been on our broadcast and was a former teammate of yours at Oklahoma, Nicole.
Yeah, Brooke Vestal. Just somebody that is ever curious, always wanting to learn, always wanting to grow. Her entire family, very much like that.
Harley, the youngest of 3. Another sister played at Bucknell. Brooke played for Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss. A ball and a strike. And Vestal skies one out to left. Altmaier makes a catch, and Citlali Gutierrez able to work around the 2 walks. And with that, we go to the seconds. Top-ranked Texas and Texas State scoreless here at Bobcats Softball Stadium.
Reese Atwood, we saw her just last inning. She had that famous intentional walk hit. I mean, I get chills thinking about it. Just total competitors, and you felt Texas, the momentum on their side. But what I love about this year's team is they haven't missed a beat, and they're not listening too much into what's going on outside of themselves. What I mean by that is you can hear a lot of chatter whenever you win a national championship. I have been there. I've heard it. It is hard to drown that out. So being able to stay focused and stay present, that is a tough thing to do in Texas. They're doing it really well.
When you win a national championship, there's a huge bullseye on your back. And so Texas is getting everybody's best game in and game out. Here they stand now 29 games in, though, only 1 loss. The only team that's gotten them, number 9 at the time, number 9 Nebraska, second day of the regular season. Swing and a foul tip strike to Katie Stewart. And my goodness, what a year she has had, batting .493. Her slugging percentage, not her OPS, her slugging is over 1,100 this year. 15 homers and 42 driven in. To give you some perspective for Bobcat fans that follow their program very closely, Ayana Coleman set the program record last year with 17 homers. Stewart has 15 now.
Over the years, it's been really fun to just watch her settle in and become this veteran hitter, this professional hitter.
A leadoff walk, given up by Uzua. Second walk she has surrendered. Now, talking about Uzua's approach, we saw a lot of the off speed and the changeup for her in the first inning. You were a bit surprised that we saw that from her at the outset of the game.
A lot of times you'll see pitchers either show their off speed in that first inning, then there'll be a couple of innings where they kind of hold off on it. The back of your head as a hitter, whenever you see that changeup being used, you go up to the bat and you have that in the back of your head. Watch out for the off speed. Make sure you're battling that. You have to protect. That's definitely a strategy, or you can just show it early and then completely shift up what you're throwing later on in the game. But Uzua's still going strong with that off speed, and it's worked really well for her so far.
Got to look at Josh Trevino, Texas State's pitching coach, in the dugout moments ago as Coleman comes out to talk to Uzua. Texas State has been pitcher U over the last several years. They have bridged from Randy Rupp, Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year and arguably the best pitcher in program history, to then Jessica Mullins, also named Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year and one of the best pitchers in team history, then to Maddie Uzua. She goes around, strike one to Hannah Wells, the DH tonight for Texas. Wells hitting .308. Some power numbers of her own with 6 home runs in the season.
What really stands out to me about Texas State pitchers, though, is their competitive nature. They love to compete.
This ball is hit in the air, left field, and Vestal tracks it down to the warning track. A deep fly is good for the first out here in the second.
That one off the bat didn't feel like it had too much behind it, but that ball kept drifting and going and going. That's something that you're going to see at the park. You have to pay attention to the wind as an outfielder. It's right now blowing hard out to left field, but at a moment's notice, it can shift and go out to center field. It can be blowing in. It goes all over the place.
And that hits Viviana Martinez. So the Longhorns have had 3 base runners in the game, but still no hits. Got her right on the elbow guard.
Definitely glad that you're wearing that one, right?
That's why it's there. So 2 on, 1 away for J.C. Nichols for Texas. Hitting .364. Pitch on the other half is taken for strike 1. It feels like that outside corner against lefties is there right now for Maddie Azua.
Yeah, if she's able to get that back door in shape or that drop ball inside, she's going to be in a great position. Right now, just...
Snap throw back to second, and Stewart just ahead of the tag from Zarate.
Really good eye there by Kellenar. Just kind of caught Stewart sleeping a little bit. You could tell she was surprised that that ball was going back, trying to get back quickly.
And here's the bunt, fielded by Kellenar. Throw to first is in time. On a bang-bang play, Nichols gunned down. It'll go down as a sacrifice and move the runners over to second to third, now with 2 out.
This is a beautifully placed bunt. There's nowhere else to go. But again, Kellenar, she has a cannon. We just saw it 1 pitch ago. Able to get out, jump out early.
Ashton Maloney, right back to Azul. Off her glove, recovers and throws in time for the outs. Maddie Azua able to make the play when almost turned out to be a disaster for Texas State. And the Longhorns are scoreless after 2. We head to the bottom.
She's a fantastic coach, and she does a really good job of getting the most out of her teams.
Zarate leads off the second against Lali Gutierrez. Her second inning of work in the circle. And again, coaching in the Sun Belt is very good. We referenced the World Series final last year between Texas and Texas Tech. Well, Red Raiders head coach Jerry Glasgow had just got done a great tenure at Louisiana before taking over in Lubbock.
Yeah, I mean, Sun Belt definitely has those teams where whenever you see them in your regional, get a little tight. You go, man, I don't wish that they were here.
They're a tough out. That ball well in the dirt. 2-1 here to Zarate.
This is something we've seen from both pitchers. A lot of free passes already. Texas State with 3, and then just last inning, Gutierrez, she had 2 walks. So the control has been kind of questionable so far in that first inning. You want to see them start to reel it in here in the second.
Over the heart of the plate and in there for a strike 2, Zarate. Player coming off a tough knee injury from a year ago, put her on the shelf, and I know that's something you can relate to, Nicole.
Yeah.
In terms of the working yourself back, and that's something that Kat Zarate had to do over the offseason to be ready in game shape this year. How was that for you?
I think it just comes with practice and discipline, and it comes a lot most of the time with mindset of who you are as an individual. That really shapes how committed you are to practicing, how committed and free you are to playing the game.
Zarate skies a pop-up, and it's handled by Martinez at shorts. And Gutierrez retires leadoff hitter here in the second. That'll bring up Kate Bubella, the Bobcat third baseman, former North Carolina Tar Heel, second year in St. Marcus after some time in Chapel Hill.
One thing that I noticed, Texas State out in front, they have been making solid contact, hard hits, but they have been sky-high pop-ups. They are out in front and set in front of Gutierrez. If I am them, that's a really good pitch, drop ball down. If I am them, I am looking, even though the wind is blowing across, I'm looking for a low line drive getting through that right side of the infield. I'm trying to drive something into that right center gap, because right now, whenever you're early, you need to shift that timing, give yourself a physical cue.
1-1 here to Bubella. Third of the team at average at .341 this year. Has some pop in the bat as well. Multiple home runs in the season for Bubella. And has driven in 17. Weakly hit ground ball up the middle. This will be a tough play, and it is in time. Leanne Good rifles one to Stewart at first base. And Bubella is out for out number 2.
Leanne Good is just so good. The way that she's able to get this ball in and out of her hands, no step needed. Her weight is already on that back foot. All she has to do is get it in and out of that glove, and then that release is lightning quick.
Now Megan Kellner. One ball to no strikes. starting at catcher tonight for Texas State. It's a tough year for Kellner at the plate, batting under 200. Preseason all Sun Belt coming into the year after a hot finish to the end of last season. Ahead against Gutierrez, 2 balls and no strikes. And Texas State does have a couple of ranked wins this season over Clemson and Texas A&M. The highest ranked team they've ever beaten was number 8 in the country, then Louisiana. The records of ranked teams for the program stop around 2005 for a team that's been playing since 1986. So there's nothing on record that says the Bobcats have beaten number 1 before. We can tell you, though, since 05, they never have.
Well, they definitely put together those games, but again, it's that attention to detail, finishing all the way through the current play.
Chopper towards third. Nichols, long throw is on target, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Citlali Gutierrez with her infield defense making some plays at short, second, and at third. And we head to the third. Still no score in this match.
At a team that isn't in the SEC, sometimes that can go under the radar, but her movement, her location, and her competitiveness, that is something to be aware of whenever you're going into this. And I know these Texas hitters, they are not taking her lightly either as well. I'm not surprised, but what she needs to do is continue to stay on those corners, because as good as her stuff is, these Texas hitters, it's relentless in this lineup. They're consistent 1 through 9.
What's going to be interesting now, though, is that for Zua, this is seeing the lineup a second time through. How will they adjust? How will she adjust to the adjustments they make? Swung and a miss. 1-2 to Henry. So far, the only strikeout victim of the game for either team.
It wouldn't surprise me if she kind of kept the same, for the most part, same routine, same game plan. It was pretty effective the first time through, and the misses were pretty big. There was only one hard hit that we saw, and that was towards that bottom of the lineup from Wells. It was that pop fly. The wind helped carry it out, but she was getting really good swings and misses, and then the missed contact. It was the free passes that kind of got her in a little bit of trouble.
Capitals 3-2. Both teams have Conference Series looming this weekend. Texas State at home to take on Marshall. And for Texas, a 3-game series at home against Texas A&M. A rivalry renewed with Texas entering the SEC last year. Full counts. That's a chopper up the middle. Zarate fields, throw, not in time, and Henry beats it out. And that's the first hit of the game for Texas.
Really great effort by Zarate. Good job staying down. That's a difficult play to make on that short hop with your body moving away. But whenever you have the speed of Henry, you don't get it in and out of your glove. She just took too long to transfer. Couple steps in between fielding and getting that ball out and throwing it over. You're not going to be able to get her in time. She has a lot of speed.
And because of that speed, Bobcats have to be wary about her base stealing abilities. Henry has stolen 20 bases this year. She's only been caught once. The rest of the team at 34 stolen bases combined. That bunt push foul. That's out of play now for Leanne Good. The count's 0-2.
For the middles, definitely have an advantage. They've been playing up a couple steps towards second base all game long, but you do get a runner going. You're 2, 3, maybe even 4 steps closer to the bag than if you were playing straight up.
Up the middle, Zarate to second for 1 and a first for a 4-3 double play. The Bobcats, one of the best double play teams in the country. That's her 20th of the year, and the bases are empty with 2 out.
Perfectly positioned. I had just talked about those middles pinching up towards second base. They get a lot of ground balls fielded there with that curveball. And right as it was written up, you get that 1 out, 2 out, and immediately you get a sigh of relief as you go into these heavy hitters as part of the lineup.
Ball hit to Zarate again. She was busy in the inning, throws out Altmaier at first base. And we go to the bottom of the third. How about the defense of Kat Zarate? She and Texas State Deadlock with the Longhorns, not well more than 1,000 fans here tonight. Could be a record-setting night here in St. Marcus.
I mean, this game I had circled myself, and I was calling it. I was so excited to see this matchup, and so far it's been proven to be a good one. I've seen really great defensive plays, good pitching, and as you go into this game, I think we're going to see these hitters start to make those adjustments. Hopefully start to see some offense rolling in.
Sammy Hood, her first at-bat, rolls this foul, falls behind against Gutierrez, 0-2. Former Wichita State Shocker in her first year at Texas State. Was a good power hitter for the Shockers so far this year, just 2 home runs. That ball line into left at a base hit for Hood. Texas State's first hit of the game off Gutierrez comes here in the 3rd inning as we go back to the top of the order.
That second time through, that's whenever you have to start making sure that you're keeping those balls tight. And Gutierrez, she just lets that ball leak back over. They almost count that 9-hole hitter as the second time through because you get to watch 8 other hitters go before you. You should have a very clean and refined game plan whenever you step up as a 9-hole hitter.
That's Keely Williams. There's yet to see a ball to hit in this game as that's ball 1. Lone Bobcat hitting better than 400 on the year. She's been a tremendous doubles hitter. 11 this season. Ahead against Gutierrez, 2-0. Those 11 doubles, 3rd of the Sun Belt, ranks 30th in the country. Also named preseason All Sun Belt Conference along with Ayanna Coleman and Megan Kellner. Bat stays on her shoulder here as the count runs to 3 balls and no strikes.
It's been that drop ball that's been giving Gutierrez just a little bit of trouble. She hasn't been able to place it. It's falling too far down in the zone. If she brings that up, especially paired off with that rise ball, it's going to be a hard way for hitters to make that adjustment.
Walks on 4 pitches. The second free ticket for Williams to first base, and the Bobcats have something brewing here. 2 on and nobody out.
Just like that, each team, each pitcher has given up 3 free passes apiece, and that's pretty much the first thing that you're taught whenever you learn how to pitch is, hey, you give up a walk, you give up a free base, most of the time they come around to score. So knocking those down and being disciplined, that's going to be key. I mean, this is a big game, and both these teams, they're doing anything they can to scratch and claw, and you want to have a pitcher up there that's pounding the zone and competing in the best possible way for your defense, for your team.
And the Longhorns are making a change in the circle. Mike White going to take Lali Gutierrez out of the game now for Texas. New pitcher coming in here for the Longhorns with 2 on and nobody outs. And coming into the circle, it's Cambria Salmon. Saw her warming up earlier. Salmon, the sophomore right-hander out of Beaumont, California, into the game now for Texas. And she inherits a tough situation here, Nicole. Not only 2 on, but heart of the order coming up. Look at her numbers on the season, 5-0, making her 8th appearance on the year. ERA right around 2 and 34-plus innings. She's much more of a strikeout pitcher than Gutierrez before her. And she could use a couple of punch-outs right now.
Right now, the biggest thing is, can you pound the zone? As a relief pitcher, your job whenever you come into the game is to get quick outs for your team. And you get the balls on the ground, you get those swings and misses, those miscues. That's whenever you get your defense to work for you. Texas, early on in the game, that's what they had, and it looked really good. But a quick reset for Texas. That's exactly what you want to see from them defensively.
So, Salmon into the game now. Her head coach, Mike White, again replacing Setlali Gutierrez. She goes 2+ innings in her start tonight for Texas. And now Salmon will face Sydney Harvey. Harvey had a successful sacrifice in her first at-bat. I would think a sac bunt's in play here to move runners over to second and third. And Harvey will show it, but pulls it back. And takes ball one from Salmon.
Sack bunt definitely an option, but whenever you have this defense playing in so tight, you have to be really careful about where you place it. You don't want to give them something too easy where they can go to third.
Pushes that one foul. Count evens here, and a ball and a strike. Salmon's had some good strikeout games this year. 6 strikeouts against Prairie View, 5 against East Texas A&M, 4 against Ohio State.
If I'm Harvey, I'm trying to put something hard in the ground, especially with this defense up. Less time to react.
Takes a strike. 1 and 2 here to Harvey. After her is Carmen Bass and then Ayana Coleman. One of the best opportunities for the Bobcats to score early on in the game coming here right now. Cameron Salmon trying to douse the Flames here. The 1-2 pitch is off the plate, and the count evens at 2 and 2. A hit and a walk for the Bobcats so far in the inning. There are 2 runners on. Take strike 3 looking. There's a big punch out for Salmon and the first out of the inning.
That is huge. Harvey, you saw that pitch twice before. Salmon, she goes to that screwball time and time again. You have to be expecting that one. That is way too close with 2 strikes. You need to present and offer something to foul that off and get yourself back to the pitch that you want.
Now it's Carmen Bass, walked on her first at-bat, facing Salmon for the first time. First pitch is down for ball 1. We've talked up this Longhorn offense, rightfully so, one of the best lineups in the country, but pitching-wise also very strong this year for head coach Mike White, 7th lowest ERA in the country at 1.90. That ball up the middle and through for a base hit. And stopping at third is Hood to load the bases for Ayana Coleman.
Really good reactive hitting. Would have loved to see Hood just take off on that one. No one is catching that one, and that ball up the middle. She paused a second too long. If she goes hard on that, you may see her get that extra base, go for that ball home. That throw was bounced over to pitcher's mound. So you may have seen a play at the plate. As a runner, you have to be thinking one step ahead. You have to be present. Moments like that, that's where you see Texas State kind of falter a little bit. But they're in a great position right here.
Coleman pops it up behind the plate. Atwood trying to find it, and the catch not made by Nichols. Came over from third. Slipped around trying to make the catch, and Coleman stays alive.
Well, we talked about the wind just changing and getting mixed up. That wind at the beginning of this inning was blowing straight out to center field. Started to blow in. Now it's blowing back out to left field. You saw the movement that Reese Atwood took all around what felt like behind the plate. And that is something that you do not want to give another pitch to, another opportunity to a hitter like Coleman. That's the best hitter in this Texas State lineup.
Ricky Woodard calling for an offensive timeout. Chatting with Ayana Coleman, who will now head back to the plate. Popped up at a first at-bat today. Hasn't seen a lot of pitches to hit recently. A couple of weekends ago, got walked time after time against ULM. But nowhere to put her now with the bases loaded. 0-1 from Salmon. That's way out of the zone. Evens a count at a ball and a strike.
Well, one thing that Ricky Woodard was probably talking to Coleman about, you mentioned pop-up, and then you just saw that foul ball, high pop-up. With bases loaded and 1 out, your defense or your base runners, they can't do anything if the ball's in the air.
Coleman rips that foul. The count runs to 1-2. Coleman this year is hitless, though, with the bases loaded, 0 for 5. Bobcats as a team hitting .262 with the bases used.
Has a pretty clear target right there. I mean, come on. Hit it to me. That's out in the parents' deck out there. Off center.
Up the middle. Play at second for 1 to first, and it bounces away from Stewart. That's going to bring in 2 runs. Texas State leads 2-0. Coleman is thrown out at second base, but the Bobcats strike for 2 before the third out was recorded, and the Bobcats lead Texas heading into the 4th.
Good over at second base, but that overthrow, but then again, lack of awareness. Coleman just running into second. Hindsight, you need to slide on that. That is number 1 rule. You cannot go into that bag standing up. You cost your team an inning, a big momentum. You maybe could have gotten 1-2 more runs, and that is huge against a team like Texas, who offensively, they're able to open it up with just 1 swing, especially with this type of hitter up.
That would be Reese Atwood, followed by Katie Stewart, Hannah Wells for the Horns here in the 4th inning. Atwood and Stewart, one of the best 1-2 power combos in the country. And both facing Azua for the second time. Count runs to 3 balls and no strikes. So we talked about this huge crowd here today, and here at the ballpark, they're offering up dollar ice cream tonight.
Hey.
So it's a promotion for dollar ice cream at the park, and they're going to do it again this weekend for the Marshall Series. As we see Atwood take a strike, and they were kind enough to offer us some free ice cream up in the booth.
I was about to say, so what I'm hearing is I'm going to get ice cream Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
I also had ice cream yesterday, so I don't know what that says about me, but...
You like ice cream? There's a ground ball to third. Bubella's throw 1 hops away from Coleman. And on her way to second is Atwood. And the Bobcats' first error of the game is costly.
The lack of attention from base running has seeped over into defense. This has been the Achilles heel for Texas State all season long. You can see her just trotting, not setting your feet. Give yourself a shuffle at third base instead of running. Set your feet. You have plenty of time. But now you have a runner in scoring position with Katie Stewart, a ton of power. And whenever those two work well with each other, it tends to open up the floodgates for the rest of the lineup. They are kind of the catalyst, the party starters for this offense.
That was the 5th error of the year against Bubella. Texas State's defense has been a strength at times. Again, one of the top double play teams in the country. 4th in the Sun Belt in fielding percentage. But an error there opens the door here for Stewart to tie the game with 1 swing, as the count runs to 2 balls and a strike.
But the biggest thing that you can do if you're Texas State, if you're on defense right now, is flush it. It's in the past. You can't change it. You have to stay present in this moment. Really good stop behind the plate by Kelnar.
Got now 3 balls and a strike to Stewart. Walked against Suzu in her first at-bat. Has an OPS this year of close to 1,800. And now Kellner will come out and talk to Azua. You got to be careful here on a 3-1 count. And you got to keep in mind, too, that first base is open.
Kellner is just keeping it light with her pitcher, just trying to make her smile, make her relax. And it's that fine line, and one that catchers, they know best, right? You want your pitcher to feel loose and relaxed, but also you have to keep them locked in. And it just kind of feels like Azua, her zone has expanded this inning. She's gotten behind in counts, and you want her to start to squeeze herself just a little bit more.
Hannah Wells awaits on deck here for Texas. Tough to keep this lineup in check for too long. Longhorns, one of the top scoring teams in the country, as Stewart found that one way to field the count at 3-2.
Really nice backdoor placement. And whenever you look ahead, like you said, to Wells, she's the only one in this lineup that had that hard hit. You've seen contact made all game long, but Wells was the only one that made really solid contact.
Stewart takes ball 4. A borderline miss there by Azua. I think she thought she had strike 3.
That one is a tight pitch. It was right on that chalk line, but I think this was the right call, just a little bit too far outside. As a pitcher, whenever you are attacking, getting ahead in the zone, sometimes those umpires still send that call your way, but whenever you're falling behind, you're missing, those tend to go the hitter's way.
Longhorns will bring in a pinch runner in place of Atwood over at second base. It's Taylor Anderson now at second here for Texas. And we saw Ricky Woodard get really hot on that called ball 4.
Again, it's a really tight pitch. It's a close pitch, especially with the 3-2 count. And now you have 2 runners on base and no outs. And the hitter who had the hardest hit, the deepest hit, out in warning track in left field. This wind has not slowed down at all.
The batter here, Hannah Wells, was named as the Gatorade National Player of the Year in high school a year ago. This is her freshman campaign at Texas. She's the second Longhorn ever to play for the program that was the nation's Player of the Year. The only other one, she's in the stands tonight, Kat Osterman.
A lot of ties between these two programs.
Kat, of course, one of the greatest pitchers in the history of the game. Played at Texas as well. Skies a pop-up, and it's Zarate for the first out. After her playing days at Texas and then in the Olympics, got into coaching and later joined Ricky Woodard's staff for a number of years. Wanted to resume her playing career, namely in the 2021 Summer Olympics, and gave up coaching. Also got into broadcasting, and now she's working in professional softball on the front office side.
Kat wears many hats.
I just absolutely loves the game. Clearly, it's been her life from growing up to player to coach to broadcaster to GM.
Definitely, whenever you have those athletes that are curious about the game, that want to know more, that IQ is so high. You just can't help but get better. You can't help but noticing, see things in a different way, look at things in a way that no one else does, because you're constantly pushing. If you look back at the best coaches, the best athletes, that's what they do.
The ball was strike to Viviana Martinez. Azura looking to nibble the inner half of the plate again. Doesn't get the call this time. Some of the Bobcat fans here getting restless with the strike zone from Jenna Bouillon behind the plate.
I like the way that Azua is attacking tight in, really utilizing her back door a little bit more this inning.
No question about that one. 3 balls with a strike. Here to Martinez, junior out of Tolleson, Arizona. A couple of years ago, second team, all Big 12. Now playing in her second season in the SEC, although she missed all of last year due to injury. In their first strike, and the count fills at 3-2.
It's now 5 pitches that have been on that inside half. Haven't seen too much action from Martinez. Doesn't look like she wants to go after that pitch as well, but whenever you stay on one side of the plate too long.
On the ground is short. Hood fields it, throw to third, and it gets away from Bubella. And here's Anderson coming to the plate, and she will score and make it 2-1. It's a throw that Hood did not need to make.
Texas taking advantage. That run wouldn't have even come across if it wasn't for the first error. But Hood, by the time she gets up to throw the ball, the runners are already standing on the bag over at third. So you just want to have that mindset of, that was a great diving effort. You saved that run by keeping that ball in the infield. Don't try to rush it. Pay attention to what's going on. Try to anticipate what to do next.
Another pinch runner in for Texas in place of Katie Stewart. And now pinch running here for the Longhorns, it is Adea Wallace. Bases loaded, 1 out, or runners first and second, I beg your pardon, 1 out. The tying run at second base is J.C. Nichols, who's at strike 1. And this has been a tough defensive inning here for the Bobcats. 2 errors, both on the left side of the infield against Bubella and Sammy Hood. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
To your point, there have been errors that have been not because of an effort or a play, but just the lack of heads up of what's going on situationally.
Popped up, and Keller makes a catch. Good for the second out. that Azua has a chance, despite a walk with base hit and 2 errors, to get out of this with the lead intact.
That's where that maturity, that's where the innings that she has pitched comes into play. She's able to rely on her stuff. She's not trying to overcompensate, overdo things.
Maloney showing a bunt, take strike 1 here.
Maloney had that hard ground ball right back to Azua last time she was up. Bobbled it a little bit, but was able to make the play.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
You can definitely tell Azua is fired up right now. Trying to get her team back into the dugout, score a couple more runs.
Big guy here for Azua because the top of the order looms next. And this pitch is low. 1 ball and 2 strikes facing Maloney here. There's so many of these players grew up multi-sport stars. In the case of Maloney, she really wanted to play soccer growing up. Her dad told her you can only do that if you also play softball. And here she is now.
Funny how that works out.
She did play both in high school, by the way, but of course now collegiately playing softball, not soccer. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on and 2 down. And the pitch from Azua, that'll fill it at 3 and 2.
And this is where you think to Texas and their offense and why they have had this win streak. Because offensively, they are tough to get out, even with 2 outs, even with a full count, an 0-2. They battle back, battle back.
Chopper to the ground. Zarate will throw to first, and it is in time to Coleman to end the inning. Texas on the board, but the lead remains intact for Texas State. Heading into the bottom of the with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, leading to 2 runs for Texas State. As we start the bottom of the 4th inning, Harley Vesta leading off here against Cambria Salmon. Came in relief of Citlali Gutierrez. Longhorn starter going 2 innings tonight, giving up 2 runs, both earned on only 1 hit, but she walked 3 batters. Vestal facing Salmon for the first time. And the count even here, 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, Harley Vestal, first-year transfer from Texas A&M. Moving closer to home, transferring to Texas State, hailing from New Braunfels. Only about 20 minutes outside of San Marcos. Played her high school softball at Canyon, which has been one of the top 5A programs in the state for a long time. Vestal looks at strike 2.
And the speed difference between Gutierrez and Salmon, she throws a little bit harder. In Texas State, they were early. So this actually puts them more on time and more into their swing pass that they've naturally tend to lean into.
This ball in the air to left field, and coming over to make the catch on the run is Altmaier. Good wheels, able to track that down for the first out here in the 4th.
Altmaier, a lot of speed to her. Making that foul ball look pretty easy, but that was pretty shallow. She's playing far off that line. A lot of range from these outfielders, a lot of speed.
Now it's Katarina Zarate. In a game that's had some tough plays defensively in the infield, Zarate has made some plays of her own. Helped turn a huge double play earlier in the game. That ball laced to left, but foul. Good turn there by Zarate. It winds up at strike 2.
Definitely hunting that screwball, especially whenever it's waist high. If you're able to keep your hands inside that for a second longer as a hitter, you're in business. I always liked, especially whenever I was getting that tight inside pitch, almost aiming a little bit to the left of wherever the left fielder was.
Well, Zarate behind in the count, 0-2, hit by a pitch. She'll take her base, and the Bobcats have a runner with 1 out in the 4th.
That one tight, gets the hands. Right on that wrist. A lot of small bones right around there. But Zarate, she looks like she's okay, standing on first still.
Now it's Kate Bubella. Committed one of the 2 errors in the top of the inning. And her second at bat of the game, facing Salmon for the first time. By the way, Salmon does spell her name like salmon, S-A-L-M-O-N. And it always annoyed me when people would call it Salmon, but that is her last name, pronounced Salmon.
Salmon.
It's not the same.
Whenever people would ask me, I would forget which one I would say. Because then neither one would sound right, and then I would be like, wait,
well, one of them is wrong.
And tonight, salmon is the wrong one.
Yes. In this case, we'll accept it. It is Salmon. 0-2 to Bubella. A swing and a miss, and strikes out on 3 pitches. Second strikeout for Salmon. And good for the second out here in the 4th.
Really good pitch. She typically works tight in on the hands of those righties. You're expecting that. The minute you see a pitch on that outer half, you feel like you have to protect. You get that lean, and as soon as Bubella gets that lean across the plate, it's game over.
Here's Kellner with 2 out. First team all Sun Belt a season ago. A couple of hits over the weekend in the series against Louisiana. Her batting average again is low, sub 200, but doesn't strike out much. Just 6 strikeouts all year. Does tend to put the ball in play. Ahead here against Salmon, 2-0. There's a story behind that, by the way. You see the sign out there, "Let's go sugar cookies," and you're probably wondering, what on earth does that mean? We'll get to the story in a second. The Salmon readies at 2-0. 3 balls, no strikes. So over the offseason, Texas State's team was working with a trainer who had a military background, kind of almost like a drill sergeant, and he was trying to rally the players to work harder and harder, and was calling them, he was proud of his sugar cookies, the way he phrased it.
Let's go, sugar cookies.
We brought up a lot of food in this broadcast. Ice cream, salmon.
I fear that comes with the territory of calling games with me.
That's true. And there is a walk to Kellner. So hit, batter, and a walk for the Bobcats in the inning. They're 2 runners on as we now approach the 9-hole hitter in Sammy Hood.
You see Mike White call a timeout. Hood, that 9-hole, a hard hit her last time up bat, and now Texas State, they've been consistently getting runners on base. Last inning was the first time they were able to capitalize thanks to an error, but they've been getting those runners on base. They've been putting pressure, and somebody who's already been effective. You're going to see White just come out and talk strategy with his pitchers, talking to Reese Atwood, talking to Salmon. Atwood, what did you see from her last at bat? Did you notice anything? And then Salmon, okay, what's our strategy? What was the game plan that you want to go with her? Let's get set on a first pitch and go from there.
There is activity in the Longhorns bullpen. It is possible the 2 pitchers just getting in their weekly work. Also possible they aren't loosening up. 2 pitchers tossing in the pin here for Texas. It's like Tegan Cavan, one of the pitchers when we got for Texas, and Brindley Gonzalez the other. 2 on, 2 out for Sammy Hood. Fouls it back for strike 1. It's a sellout tonight. Not all the seats not available, so just make what you can of it. And those young fans are taking a seat right there at the fence.
They are right. Hard to tell from that side angle, but I don't know if she leaned into that one fully.
And so, again, it's a strike against Hood. And the count 1-2.
Just kidding.
And yeah, you can see that left arm being stuck out. You can see that call made by Jenna Bouillon. 1-2. Fouls the back and stays alive.
I mean, regardless, she's back in the box now, but I don't know, like, even though she did lean in, that was well within the batter's box. That pitch was definitely a ball inside the batter's box, and as a hitter, you're able to have that right, but if you're Salmon, take advantage.
One-two from Salmon. Counting is here, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Waiting on deck is Keely Williams here for Texas State. Bobcats trying to add to a 2-1 lead. Texas State scoring twice in the third. Longhorns got their run at the top of the fourth. Two-two. Popped up and out of play.
Heads up for the fans over there.
Odds are a foul ball is going to find a fan tonight.
Better have your hands out ready to catch. Keep your head on a swivel.
Two-two. That hits her and hard, and Hood did not lean into this one.
Well, I'm of the mind, hey, ball does not lie.
Don't hear that phrase very much in softball. It's a basketball thing. But I guess in this case, you're right. On the top of the foot.
A lot of free passes from Texas pitchers. And you know that hurts so bad. That top half of the foot, all the tiny bones. And that didn't even bounce. That was a direct hit into the foot.
And now the Longhorns turn to one of the top pitchers in the country, Tegan Cavan. 12-0 this year. ERA under 2. 74 innings pitched. She has struck out 98, only walking 20. The Longhorns coming off their national championship season, and she was the most outstanding player in Oklahoma City. Was also named the second team All-American a season ago. A program that's had so many great pitchers, and Cavan another in that long list. 1-1 strike to Keely Williams.
Third time through the lineup now for Texas State. As a hitter, you get your third at bat, you start to feel comfortable. Even if you are facing a new pitcher, you just feel like you're in a rhythm. Williams, she has 2 walks.
Last time Cavan pitched came 4 days ago at Baylor. A mini 2-game series against former conference rival out of Waco. And Cavan against the Bears, 10 strikeouts in 5 innings. Just can overpower hitters. As Williams looks at strike 2.
You could tell that Texas, they were wanting to rely on a few of their other arms who are so solid as well. Typically, they have a big weekend series, but Texas State, they know that they can't look too far ahead. The game can't get too far away from them.
A swing and a miss, set of strikeouts, and the Bobcats leave the bases loaded. A big threat for Texas State.
So good.
And also of note, the two have combined for the last 5 national championships. Of course, OU won 4 in a row, and Texas winning a year ago. And they have met in the College World Series finals before. And the Longhorns on a 26-game winning streak, while OU has won 21 straight. So between the two of them, 47 straight wins. Here's a fly ball out to left. Harley Vestal near the line, makes the catch. Takes care of Caden Henry for the first out here in the 5th inning. Right now having some issues with our score graphic. It is 2-1 Texas State at the top of the 5th. Nobody on, 1 away. Also, the last time Texas trailed a game after 4 innings was their lone loss of the year, February 7th against Nebraska. And here they are down 2-1 against Texas State. Cornhuskers won that game 8-5. It's a much more low-scoring affair as Leanne Good behind against Azua, 0-1. And that'll even the count here. The ball and a strike.
Saw some fire from Azua last half inning after the error that allowed a run to come across the board. She was determined. No way anybody else is getting on the bag.
One ball and 2 strikes.
Are starting to see Azua go to that changeup more. Saw it maybe twice in that last half inning, but now this inning we've seen it several times already.
1-2 to Leanne Good. Lays off at a tough pitch and 2 strikes.
It's a good look for back-to-back, but Leanne Good very disciplined at the plate, doesn't chase after that one. Either way, I think it's pretty effective for Azua for her pitching to slow down twice the hitter.
Ball is into the air to right field. Has some carry, but not enough as Williams makes the catch just short of the wall. But the Longhorn fans here got very excited, but that ball did not make it over the wall as Good flies out for the second out.
It's a big smile from Williams. Really glad for that crosswind. For a moment, it looked like it might change and blow out directly to right field.
Kai Altmaier with the bases empty and 2 out. Strike 1 from Azua, who has retired 4 in a row. And that is not easy to do against this lineup.
She's been really effective against the top half of the lineup, and a lot of times you rely on those hitters to get on base. They have those high on-base percentages.
Nice backdoor pitch there from Azua. 0-2 here to Altmaier. Azua, one of the nation leader in strikeouts, just 1 tonight. That was the first batter of the game she faced. That ball flared towards left, and Pesto can't quite track it down. I mentioned that Texas OU matchup looming, 2 of the top programs in the country, and a rivalry you've been a part of, Nicole.
Yeah, that SEC gauntlet. Definitely making sure that they still have those 2 teams facing up against each other. And I think both of them embracing it. I think that's a huge thing. You see Texas State embracing these big-time matchups. That one just misses that back door. Really competitive pitch there from Azua, but you want to embrace the teams that are going to push you and make you better, because whenever it comes to postseason, your team is going to be better for it. You as an athlete, you as a coach, you're going to be better for it. Now, Texas, they definitely have a gauntlet on the road nonetheless, too. This weekend, they get to be at home, but a major, major rivalry between them and Texas A&M.
Yeah, some of the road series looming for Texas in Tuscaloosa against Alabama, in Athens against Georgia, and Lexington against Kentucky. That's off the plate. The count evens here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The home series left for the Horns in the SEC. A&M this weekend, Oklahoma, second weekend of April. And the final series of the year at home against Arkansas. Razorbacks, top 10 of the country. Bobcats played them early on in the year. Again, Ricky Woodard not afraid to piece together a stiff non-conference schedule. Bobcats have played 4 ranked opponents so far this year. Tonight marks their 5th. Two to Altmaier. And the count fails. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Reese Atwood awaits on deck here for Texas.
If you can end this inning here before you have to face Reese Atwood, that would be a major win and momentum shift back into that Texas State dugout.
Fly ball towards left and out of play. Oh, and you said it there, Nicole. If Altmaier is able to reach here, that would bring up the go-ahead run in Atwood. And then after her, it's Katie Stewart. If you don't get this out, the inning could become much longer.
Well, we talked last time those 2 were up. They are the ones that jump-start it, whether it is by a home run most of the time or an RBI or even an error. Regardless, this is a great battle by Altmaier. I love this hitting, this refusal to let the pitcher win. She's finding a way, those pitchers that are pitchers, she's finding a way to reset. You can see her just take her time in between pitches, take a deep breath, reset before she gets back in. That does wonders for a hitter, slowing down.
And brings up Carmen Bass. Pass so far, good night. She's been on twice with a walk and a base hit.
Control has been an issue for Texas pitchers tonight. 5 walks. Each pitcher, we've seen 3 so far tonight. Each one of them has had a walk come across the plate. And Ricky Woodard trying to pull that sweatshirt over her mouth. But I bet you, more than anything, she is saying, look for that low rise ball. That's the pitch that you want to hunt, especially with Coleman coming up soon. She's talking to her right now.
And the walk batter is typically not an issue for the staff. Longhorns 11th in the country in whip, 11th best in strikeout to walk ratio. With 5 walks so far in this game. There's a strike in the other half to Bass. It's 1-1.
We'll say that low rise from Kavan has been consistently a strike. It's just the strike that she typically gets at the top half of the zone, right at the top of the letters. That's the one that she's not able to locate as well.
Fouls it away. Count runs to 1-2. Again, these two typically meet every year, sometimes multiple times, but this is the only meeting of the season between Texas State and Texas. One and two, and Bass pops it up right to the shortstop Martinez for the first out here in the 5th.
A little bit of off speed from Kavan, especially whenever she's pumping it close to 70 miles an hour. And then you go and you have a pitch that's 10 miles an hour less. Texas State, they already struggle with the slower stuff. We saw it early on in the game, way out in front.
And now you got power and power here. Coleman against Kavan. With 1 out in the 5th, and Coleman a swing and a miss, strike 1. Coleman's box score tonight is 0 for 2, but she had the most important at-bat of the game thus far. Hit a ground ball to the second baseman, Leanne Good, but her throw wide of the bag at first. Brought in 2 runs. Coleman goes after another high rise ball there from Kavan, and the count's 0-2.
Tell she's eager to get that swing across. With 2 strikes, you're going to need to shorten up that swing.
Got her in 3 pitches in the same location.
Tegan Kavan going tight in on the hands of Coleman. Doesn't give her too much space to get that barrel through. You see the way that Reese Atwood is set up. She's wanting that rise ball that ends and finishes that high strike.
Harley Vestal, 1 on, 2 out, up the middle. And Martinez with the bag at second base to end the inning. The Bobcats had put Harvey in motion, but the ball hit sharply enough for the play to be made. However, this might be reviewed. Defense has made some plays, some critical mistakes made, opening up the door for the runs being scored. As we start at the top of the 6th, it's Reese Atwood, Katie Stewart, Hannah Wells, all up here for Texas. Big part of the order is Maddie Azua is in the circle for her 6th inning of work. And by the way, we've talked at length about this large crowd today. And the official number is in. This ball is hit deep to center, and this game is tied. Reese Atwood hits the top of the tool shed, and it's 2-2.
Reese Atwood doing what Reese Atwood does best. Hit the ball hard, hit it far. Took all the way to the 6th inning. Azua has mainly held these Texas offensive hitters silent. When this pitch is elevated and it's over the heart of the plate. And whenever you leave balls over the middle of the plate, especially later on in the game, that ball gets sent far. It almost hit the very top of that hitting structure out there in center field.
It's a brand new game now. As Katie Stewart comes up, that was the 12th homer of the year for Reese Atwood. Stewart, a couple of walks so far against Azua. Has 15 homers of her own this season.
I mean, Reese Atwood technically had a pinch runner back in the 4th. But the pinch runner, because of whenever she got on base, came around to score. And then now, on her home run, Reese Atwood gets a home run. This part of the lineup, they are the jump starters. They're the kick starters for the run production for Texas.
I was just talking about the crowd. We have an official attendance number, 1,177. It is the fourth highest attendance figure in the history of Bobcat Softball Stadium. This ball is hit well, deep right center, and the Longhorns go back-to-back to take the lead 3-2.
Katie Stewart said, I want to get on in this action as well. Texas fans, they are up and rowdy right now. A lot of parents, a lot of fans in the stands. Talk about a bounce back. You have been battling all game long against a pitcher who is so dominant. This is a backdoor. Katie Stewart, she had a couple of swings and misses her last at-bat against that very exact same pitch. She's able to wait on it. She was a little early her last at-bat. Wait on it, time it up perfectly, and sends it into the night.
And that's going to be it for Maddie Uzua. The Bobcats will make a change. Emma Stroud into the game now for Texas State as the Longhorns finally get to Uzua. And we will step aside with Emma Stroud coming in now for Texas State. Longhorns on top of the first time tonight, trying to keep that, make a change to the circle. Emma Stroud into the game for Texas State. Executive transfer out of LSU. She and Uzua have been a great 1-2 combo this year for the Bobcats. Stroud, a sub-3 ERA. This is her 16th appearance, only her 4th in relief. Good strikeout numbers, over 47 innings, 43 punch-outs for Stroud. And ahead here against Hannah Wells, 0-2. And the change comes after Reese Atwood and Katie Stewart go back-to-back solo home runs. And the Longhorns have flipped the game.
I feel like all across the country, you have those hitters that are so dangerous back-to-back. And a lot of times you'll see them just capitalize. That one squared up pretty good, just foul. But they're able to capitalize on that energy, and they draw from one another. They build off one another. Katie Stewart definitely drew some momentum, some energy from Reese Atwood in that swing right there.
And you and I were talking a little bit about the type of pitches that Uzua had been throwing to those two, and what may have been a better choice facing both Atwood and Stewart there.
Yeah, I would have expected, as you just saw from Emma Stroud, down in the zone, more changeups. That was a pitch that Texas had been struggling with. They weren't able to fully make consistent contact with it. But I think bringing in Stroud now is a really great option, really good look, different than what they've seen all game long.
A swing and a miss. A pitch up in the zone. Wells down on strikes as Stroud punches out the first batter she faces. And one away in the 6th.
That's what you want to see from your pitcher whenever you bring her into relief, not a beat. Comes right in, strikes out the very first hitter, sets the tone.
Here's Viviana Martinez now for Texas. Had a strike in from Emma Stroud.
But you felt like it was a matter of time until this Texas offense, they were able to figure it out. You were just waiting. 6th inning. Those are the championship innings, right? Those are the last two where all bets are off. It doesn't matter what happened earlier on in the game. You're completely starting anew, and you're going, hey, whatever it takes, whatever we have to do, I'm willing to buy in. I'm willing to adjust.
If there's any silver lining for Uzua and Texas State, is that the home runs came with nobody on base. Now, that's what we talked about in the previous inning, getting out Altmaier after that long battle against Uzua. Did not want to allow her to reach on a walk and open the door for Atwood and Stewart with runners on. This is popped up. Bubella from third. The catch and foul ground for the second out.
Stroud coming in, taking care of business pretty quickly, especially after that back-to-back. Those hitters are hard to work through on this later half of the lineup, trying to just shut down that momentum. For Texas State, you still have 2 opportunities to get a run across, and you've been getting on base. Just last inning, you had bases loaded. So there is opportunity there, and if you're Texas State, you need to mentally stay present.
Pinch hitter up for Texas, Mateo Lawson, hitting in place of J.C. Nichols here in the 6th inning. Lawson, a freshman from Tinley Park, Illinois. .302 hitter, a couple of home runs of her own this season. Count even against Strew, 1 ball and 1 strike. Ashton Maloney on deck for Texas. Longhorns again taking the lead in the inning. On the back-to-back homers from Atwood and Stewart. The two of them now have combined for 28 home runs this season. The Bobcats as a team of 25.
Some people don't even have 28 RBIs on the season.
That ball headed to left field into the glove of Vestal for the 3rd and final out. But the Longhorns have flipped the game into their favor, courtesy of how they've done so far this year. No team has more wins currently among the future Pac-12 members than Texas State with their 20. As Cazzarate hit by a pitch by Tegan Cavan to start the inning, and the tying run already on base here for Texas State.
That one, a tough one, right in on the knee. That's the second time we've seen a Texas State hitter just get nailed in one of those spots where, man, hate to see it. This is the second time in a row that we've seen Cerrone get a hit by pitch. First time in the hand, now in the knee.
Yep, got hit by a pitch in the 4th inning, and Mel Reeves will come in and pinch run for the Bobcats at first base. Represents a tying run as Kate Bubella comes up now for Texas State to face Cavan. And we'll be batting against her for the first time tonight.
This wind shifted from left field a little bit more to center field, left center. Cavan definitely has a power. If you're a hitter able to get their barrel out in front, especially with the rise ball, you could put yourself right back into this game with a hard hit into the gap. This outfield for Texas are playing pretty shallow.
Bubella, 0 for 2 with a strikeout tonight. 0-1 from Cavan, putting a bunt down. Stays fair in the throw to first. Hold on. Now they're going to say it's a foul ball.
It's the right idea, but just right off the bat, immediately hit Bubella in the body before she took off. So you'll see it as soon as it bounces down, comes up and hits her. She's still inside the box, so it's a foul ball. That's why it's not a dead ball. It's not an out.
Got it right in the hip. Winds up a strike for Bubella. Behind to the count 0-2. Fights it off to stay alive. Talked about the home run power from Stewart and Atwood, who went back-to-back in the top of this inning. The two combined for 28 home runs this year. That's more than 217 Division I teams.
There's a reason why Texas has that streak, and there's a lot of reasons why Texas has that streak. It's not just one, but it's just one of many. Offensively, whenever you have two hitters that have that kind of power, that have that kind of high success rate, hitting back-to-back, like I said, they feed off of each other. They're the jump starters to getting those runs across the board for Texas.
And Bubella strikes out for the second time. One away in the 6th inning. And the strikeout for Cavan, third relief.
Really good pitch by Cavan. What we've seen from Bubella so far this game is that low and away pitch. She's reaching, trying to go after it. Her body posture just not set up for it very well at all. And Cavan, typically with that rise ball, she'll go tight and in. She'll make those hitters work for it. But the way that Bubella was set up, that low and away makes a lot of sense. Love that pitch calling.
By the way, the nation leader in home runs for a team, Oklahoma, this number doesn't even sound real. Through 34 games, the Sooners have hit 129 home runs. The only other team with 100 is UCLA, right at the century mark. Third place is Florida with 71. So Oklahoma has 58 more home runs than the team with the third most. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Cavan. Wipes away Kellner, and 2 down to the 6th.
Well, it's a year of the hitter unless you're facing Tegan Cavan. The ace definitely showcasing why she is so good at what she does. Already giving a different look, giving a different mix. Goes with the curveball down and away.
Here's Sammy Hood hitting 9th in the order. Represents a go-ahead run. If Kavan takes care of her, the Bobcats would have the top of the order due in the 7th. But they'd rather extend the inning right now. 0-1 to Hood. And a pitch outside, count even a ball and a strike.
What makes Kavan so good, obviously, besides her speed, her movement, she is pretty even keel all the way around. She knows her pace, she knows her rhythm really well. And once she finds her groove and gets in it, she is really hard to hit. What I love about her is typically whenever she comes out, she gets that groove almost right away.
1-2. And Hood just got a piece of that. The Longhorns during this 26-game winning streak really haven't been challenged a lot. Of the 26 wins, only 3 have been decided by 2 runs or less. Only 1 by a single run, and that was a 4-3 victory over Stanford. Hood lays off, and the count evens at 2-2. So the game plan tonight for Texas State and head coach Ricky Woodard has been excellent to keep themselves in the game and give themselves a chance late against Texas.
I think they've done more than that, more than a chance. They had the opportunity.
And Hood strikes out as Kavan takes care of the side. Bubella carried in the circle for the Bobcats, facing Ashton Maloney, and bunts the first pitch foul. So again, almost 1,200 in the stands here tonight, 4th largest crowd in the history of the stadium. And I don't think anybody is left. Why would you?
How could you? This game is exactly what was anticipated, what was expected. As soon as you heard about this matchup, these two teams, very familiar with one another. They play each other every single year. Waiting for it.
Fly ball to center, right to Harvey for the first out.
Look at the body of work that Azua did all throughout the game, that Texas State had done all throughout the game. You have that 4th inning, 2 errors committed, a run comes across, and then in the 6th inning, just back-to-back homers. One of them on a really good pitch.
If you were to look at Azua's line tonight, or were told it going into the game, and said, hey, she's going to go 5 innings against that lineup, give up 2 earned runs, and walk 3. If you're Ricky Woodard, you would take that. You would think, we got a chance to win the game, and here they are, only down 1.
Well, it goes back to that question that was asked by that fan back in the 4th, is like, what do you tell your team? You would come into this game expecting to win, because if you're just hoping to stay in the game, you're not going to win. You're not going to perform very well. You're just going to be happy, satisfied with something. But if you're Texas State, you're coming into this game expecting and anticipating and planning on winning. And if you're Texas, you know with that number 1, you're going to have a target on your back. And you're going to get everybody's best every time they face you. You have to be on your game. And lucky for them, Reese Atwood, she's on her game. Katie Stewart, she's on her game as well.
And again, those two going back-to-back solo homers in the 6th to give Texas the lead. Full count here to Caden Henry. 1 for 3 so far tonight. Full count pitch here from Stroud. Pops it up into center, and the catch is made. Sydney Harvey lays out and hauls it in for out number 2.
Great read by Harvey, crashing in hard as an outfielder, especially a center fielder. You trust yourself, especially whenever that ball is dying down. It's not quite that line drive. You know, if you miss it, that ball will just bounce right by you. Gives you that freedom to full out extend, go for that one. That's a huge out for her to get.
Now Leanne Good is 0 for 2. Ball one inside from Emma Stroud. Longhorns had scored 47 runs over the last 4 games. They've been held to 3 tonight. And lead by 1 here against Texas State's. Count even, a ball and a strike to Good. And for Stroud, talked about this earlier with Azua in the 5th inning. This is an important out. If Good reaches, then it's Altmeyer, then Atwood, and then Stewart again. 1-2.
The curveball just cuts across. Just barely scrapes that outside corner. Stroud's done a good job of just placing her pitches on the corners, not giving too much.
A swing and a miss, and struck her out. Second strikeout for Stroud in a 1-2-3 7th inning, giving her bats a chance. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Bobcats down to their Williams drew a couple of walks early in the game, both against Lali Gutierrez. And struck out against Kavan, back of the 4th. Texas State just 2 hits all game. A couple of singles in the 3rd inning from Bass and Hood. That's been it. 0-2. If you're a Bobcat fan thinking about how long is it going to be till they get to Ayanna Coleman, she's due 4th in the inning. They would need at least a base runner. Doesn't chase, and the count evens here. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Don't need to tell you what this moment feels like. If you're a fan watching, you're probably on edge, whether you're for Texas or Texas State. What I will tell you is your mindset as a hitter, your mindset as a defender, you want to be calm. We've seen what it looks like whenever you rush for both teams. And right now, Kavan, she has put together fantastic body of work. Like you said, 5 strikeouts already. Just in a few innings of work, she is that ace for a reason. But Texas State, they have a knack for finding their way on base. All you need is a poke through the infield, a hit in the gap, and it's a brand new ball game. Right now, Williams, she is not making it easy on Kavan. Battling from an 0-2 to a 2-2, fouling off several balls. And that's where breathing, slowing yourself down, and just going, I don't care where it's at, I'm gonna compete this at bat. I don't care who she is. All I care is that my bat touches that ball.
Full count out of Williams. The high rise ball has been an out pitch for Kavan of the game, but Williams doesn't chase it here. And the full count coming up. Who holds on? Near disaster there for Texas, but they get the out.
Leanne Good being able to hang on to this ball changes the momentum. Just when you think Texas State, they might have a chance, immediately Texas, they come back. That is why those middles are so solid. That is why, uncharacteristic of her early on in this game, that throw, that errant throw, that allowed 2 runs to come across the board.
Carmen Bass with a tying run at second base, takes ball 1.
And you can feel the energy from Texas State fans. I'm seeing face paint. I'm seeing fans up in the stands. They're shouting, they're pointing, they're going crazy out in left center. The parents, they have the signs out. This energy here in this ballpark right now is electric. There they are right there. They got the face paint and everything. That's exactly the kind of pressure that you want to feel. It is your home field. Take it, use it, feel that advantage. And if you're Kavan, you've played in the Women's College World Series and you've won. This is not new. Stay steady, stay true.
Foul back by Bass.
That's what Reese Atwood, that quick conversation, was just reminding her, hey, settle in. We got the out. pitches are moving. They're doing what they need to do. Let's just continue to go after these hitters.
Some nervous energy here in the stadium for Texas fans, many of which have made the way to the ballpark tonight. Bass looks at ball 2, low near the dirt. It's been nearly 2 months since Texas last lost a game. Only one loss all year. A base running out incident. Texas survives against